traffic and weather.
In the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names. David Scott Kelly.
Seawald ready. And with 2 outs, brings home the 1-0 pitch. Wong swings, a drive to center. There's Thomas. He's got it. And the Arizona Diamondbacks have come into Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium, and they've done the unthinkable. They have beaten the Dodgers twice.
The Diamondbacks have shocked L.A.
All you got to do is go to ESPN.com right now. Go to the Arizona Diamondbacks page. There is a picture of a dejected Mookie Betts sitting in the dugout. And that tells the story of the most classic "who would have thunk it?" A phrase I used to love to use back in the day. Who would have thunk it? The 16-game back Arizona Diamondbacks in second place, sneaking into the final spot of the National League wild card, have now won 4 consecutive baseball games, all on the road, went to Milwaukee and took 2, and now have gone to the mighty Dodgers and taken the first 2 games of the National League Division Series. And Arizona, you are now just 1 win away from playing for the National League pennant. Who would have thunk that?
Do you remember not too long ago when we played a certain song from Tom Petty? The song called Free Fallin'?
Yes.
And this was as a result of a skid. Okay, well, because computers are what they are, DK, I'm looking at the screen right now. I uploaded that on the 9th of September.
Wow.
So it wasn't that long ago that we were talking about Free Fallin' because they were on an 8-game, they had lost 8 out of 10. And here they are. They haven't lost yet in the postseason.
The schizophrenic, we call them the answer backs. Maybe we should call them the schizophrenic backs. I mean, this is a team, when you talk about that, early August, they lost 9 games in a row. I mean, it was just up and down all summer long. But it only takes 1 week in baseball. I've seen this happen many times before. It only takes 1 week to get hot, and that's what this team has done. And now they're coming home, a day off today. Probably got home last night. Day off if they're in their own beds, maybe chilling by the pool if they have one. I'm sure most of them do. And now you get to play on Wednesday night with a chance to close out the Dodgers. And guess what? Guess what happens after you close out the Dodgers?
You get just one more series to go ahead and earn yourself a ticket.
Before that, guess what happens after you get to close out the Dodgers at home? You got it for me, J-Dub? You want to take a guess?
You drink 5 bottles of champagne.
Well, there's that. You get to go swimming.
Yeah.
Okay,
you
that's
get
true.
to go swimming.
Okay. It is going to be in Arizona. That is true.
Beat the Dodgers Wednesday night, and you get to go swimming. And maybe we get another Torey Lovullo F-bomb party, which has kind of become the statement of this postseason for these Arizona Diamondbacks. Embrace the chaos. I love playoff themes. Playoff themes are so cool. And I like embrace the chaos. Because that's what this season has been. It has been chaos.
I think the key part of that is embrace, because they're not giving you a choice, David Kelly. Like, there is chaos. You can embrace it or not. You can look at it through your fingers like it's a horror movie, but it's going to happen either way.
Torey Lovullo pulling his ace in the 6th inning last night. And everybody's kind of scratching their heads and going, wait, what? You're taking Zach Gallen out of this game? Wasn't, again, but this has been Zach Gallen. Not dominant, not razor sharp, but just good enough. Just good enough. Two earned runs, 5 1/3, 5 hits, had some walks, gave up a home run, 4 strikeouts. And man, Torrey's bullpen did it again. 3 2/3 innings, 1 base hit, 2 walks, 1 base hit, 4 Ks. And how about the kid we talked about last week who started the year in AA? I love these stories in baseball. I love the kid who in April was riding the bus in Amarillo, Texas. And I don't know if you've ever been to the Texas League, but that is not a fun bus league.
It's a lot of dust.
A lot of dust. A lot of dust. A lot of long bus rides in the Texas League. Not a great travel league, folks. Not a great travel league. But Andrew Saalfrank was riding the buses through the dusters in Texas in April. And now he's getting guys on one of the best teams in baseball out in October in the big leagues. It does not get better than that. Who are these guys?
Exactly.
Ryan Thompson. Who is Ryan Thompson? I mean, we only know Kevin Ginkel. I mean, there's people outside of Arizona saying, who's Kevin Ginkel?
Again, going back to the free-falling times, you two were just clamoring about somebody has to step up in the middle relief. Well, these closers are just not protecting leads. All of those thoughts were really about the guys coming in out of the bullpen. It was really talking about them cleaning up the later innings because they were giving away a lot of games at the time. And now, I mean, you just said it. He has not given up a run in the postseason.
Kevin Ginkel.
No. Mr. Saalfrank.
Andrew Saalfrank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're enjoying the story because this is on your side of it, but the Dodgers had their own version of the same story of, this guy was in the minor leagues. He was riding buses in Oklahoma City back in April. Bobby Miller was supposed to be the guy that was going to be, okay, he's going to calm us down. He's going to get us back in this game. The Diamondbacks, we talk about the pitching, the hitting.
Yeah.
It's been strong off the rip in this series against L.A. They had to be the answer backs against Milwaukee. Arizona has not given an opportunity for the Dodgers to even have a lead in this series, let alone win the game, because they've been jumping on LA's pitching so quickly.
Yeah, they had 6 in the first inning in game 1 and 3 last night.
12 runs before there's been 6 outs in each of these games.
They got enough runs in the opening, in the top of the first, guys, to win that game.
Yes, they did. And that is our question of the day today. In terms of this Diamondbacks offense, let me pull it up here. Who is the guy right now? Who is the guy? I gave you 4 choices on this. What offensive player has been most critical to the D-backs going 4-0 in the MLB playoffs? Is it Ketel Marte? 5 hits, 3 RBIs, and Dragon Ball play. You said he's trading off in the leadoff spot.
Mm-hmm.
With Corbin Carroll?
Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte have been trading off the leadoff spot. For left-handed hitters, you get one guy. For right-handed pitchers, you get the other guy. And these two have been consistent, not only in getting on base for themselves, but also getting the other guy up onto the next, getting them into scoring position. Just in this last game, Ketel Marte had a beautiful bunt off the third base line to start off the game. Corbin Carroll walked to get on base. Rookie that has patience. You don't get those very often. But then Ketel, brilliant bunt up the third base line and got himself on base safely to put Corbin Carroll at second. These two guys play off each other so well. It's really hard to think where Arizona's offense would be if both of these guys were not 1 and 2, depending on the day.
And timely, right? I mean, is the name of the game at this time of year, guys. You're going to go up against the best of the best pitchers. That's just how postseason baseball works. But timely hitting, what if I told you that they have, as a team in the postseason, they've not lost a game yet, and yet they've got 40 strikeouts as a team.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And 18 walks. 18 walks, and that's super aggressive. They've been swinging at the first pitch a lot in the last month, not just the postseason. But it's those timely hits, right? 40 strikeouts, 18 walks, and yet, as you said, Tommy Pham, Ketel Marte, and Corbin Carroll all leading in total bases. They're all above 10 total bases on the postseason in these 4 games. So, yeah, I mean, as far as getting those timely hits and moving guys over and getting guys across the home plate, I mean, they've been doing it.
So Ketel Marte, that's one of your choices. Head on over right now, Wildcats 1290 at Wildcats 1290. That's our Twitter account or X account or whatever you want to call it. What offensive player has been most critical to the D-backs going 4-0 in the MLB playoffs? Ketel Marte, 5 hits, 3 RBIs. Corbin Carroll hitting .500, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. How about last night, 1 for 2 with 3 walks?
Yeah.
In the leadoff spot.
He's the only exception. He's got 5 walks and 2 strikeouts in the postseason.
Tommy Pham, he's got the most hits, 7, 10 total bases, batting .389. Deadline deal. And then Gabby Moreno, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. Those are your 4 choices for what offensive player has been most critical to the D-backs going 4-0 in the MLB playoffs. No surprise. Right now, it's a runaway Corbin Carroll, the rookie, who is playing like an MVP right now in the postseason. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. A lot in store for you coming up today. We're going to talk with the new head football coach of your Tucson Sugar Skulls, Billy Back. Billy Back is here. He's not back, but he's here. And he is going to join us today, as well as our weekly chat with Dave Hickey, the athletics director at the University of Arizona. We'll find out how the donor trip went to Los Angeles. I'm sure that was a lot of fun for all of those folks to see that game. Obviously, though, disappointing that Arizona did not get the win. Glenn Howe will be here in the 5 o'clock hour to break it down for us, as he does every week. We want to hear from you as well. 520-848-1290. Fourth member of our program. Her name is Cricket. She is here. Cricket.
Greetings.
You did not win Powerball last night.
I did not. How did you know? Because I'm here today?
Because you are here today, and nobody won Powerball last night. So it is now the second largest jackpot ever at $1.7 billion.
Dang. Do you guys play?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I didn't play last night because I forgot.
Oops.
I was sitting here and I was like, I got to leave right after the show and go get my ticket because I hadn't gotten it yet. Dragon Ball buys his tickets well in advance, apparently.
I make sure to buy it on the way coming into work. And once I saw that I didn't get the first number on any of my 3 tickets, I was like, all right, this is going in the trash.
All right. We're done. Yeah.
So I did not buy. I played Saturday night, but I did not play last night. But I'm definitely going to be playing for Wednesday. Wednesday is the next drawing. Do you play?
No, but sometimes when the jackpots are that big, sometimes I'll just let me grab a ticket or 2.
See, we should maybe get a consortium going. You know, they have the consortiums where everybody puts in $5 and you get like 100 something tickets, and then if we win, we all split the money.
Yeah. And the building
Guys
would be
want to
empty.
do that?
I just figure, like, if one of us
They'd have
wins,
to shut down. There'd be nobody to run the radio station. It'd
Right,
be
yeah.
all automation and voice tracking from other markets.
Yep.
I just assume if one of us won, then we would be paying off each other's mortgages or however that would be.
Something
Sure.
like that,
Is
yeah.
that, you think so, huh?
I do think so. I would. That's what I would do. I mean,
Okay.
you can speak for yourself.
All right. Oh man, J-Dub is a generous guy. I like that about him. I like. Would you donate some money to us, Cricket, if you won?
Of course. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Especially that much money.
Yeah.
It would be like plane money. It'd be almost like, you know what I mean? If that's a lot of money.
What's the first thing you would do with that money?
Get my mom a house.
Get your mom.
So my mom
There
was
you
like
go.
all, set up and good.
All right.
Yeah.
And the second thing is donate all the money to the animal shelter.
And maybe that too. Maybe a little bit of that.
would you buy it on Rop Road? You were saying Rop Road a lot yesterday.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, we did have a crash there. Yeah.
We were like, where the heck is Rop Road at?
Or is it Bop?
Or is it Bop
Was it
Road?
Bop?
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Bop
Bop Road.
Bop Road. My
Out
bad.
southwest,
Yeah.
Tucson Estates.
Okay. Where would your mom want to live? Like, is there a place here in Tucson where she would absolutely want to live?
North of River Road.
North of River Road.
Nothing's further south. That's like where she's lived forever. I think she'd
Okay.
like to move up to the northwest side.
All right. Very good. So you have to go house hunting up there. How big would she get a house, or is she old enough to still, or young enough still to have like a house, or would she want something more compact, like a condo, or
A house probably would be nice, but small, nothing super. I mean,
Yeah.
if you have $1 billion,
Right.
wouldn't have to be that
would
fancy.
you build it, or do you think you would buy one?
I don't know. It'd be a nice dream, though, to be able to, hey,
Build
Mom,
it?
pick out your own
Yeah,
whatever you want.
exactly.
That'd be
You
nice.
Pick up everything. You could pick up the tiles and everything. Exactly. Just do a custom. Can we say your mom's name on the air? What's her name?
Sure, it's Deborah Oakley.
Deborah Oakley. Okay, yeah, we could just say Mrs. Oakley gets her. You write what you want, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, draw pictures, Mom.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, we're gonna maybe get that consortium together so we can work on getting Mrs. Oakley and Mrs. Kelly and taking care of it. Miss Eleanor as well, because I got to thank Miss Eleanor for my birthday gifts last week. Thank you, Miss Eleanor, for sending us donuts. Everybody ate and got a little bit heavier. Thanks,
It's very
Miss
nice.
Eleanor. Yes. All right. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic is Cricket.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Crash clearing, a hit and run in Oro Valley at Oracle and Pushview Lane. And then a pretty serious collision occurred on I-10 eastbound, east of the town of Wilcox. Eastbound I-10 closed at milepost 354. Eastbound I-10 traffic exits the freeway at 352 and then re-enters I-10 eastbound, milepost 355. Low 68 with clear skies overnight, breezy, sunny, and 95 tomorrow and 93 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
Sports.
Wildcats' next game against Washington State. Offensive coordinator Brendan Carroll had a key piece of advice for Jaden DeLore if he does make his return on the lineup against his former team this week.
It'd be handle your emotions, would be the advice I'd give. Really, for him, if he's got to be fully healthy to play. The way he plays, it kind of requires that. So we're going to make sure he's fully ready to go if we put him out there. Yeah, it's the game is the game. As much as you can make it into other things, you just go play the game, just like we did this past week, like we did the week before. Just go play the game the way it is, and the results hopefully take care of themselves. So
again, if DeLore cannot go, it will be up to Noah Fafita again to take up the starting quarterback position. Another trade in the NFL took place today. The Rams are going to be sending out wideout Van Jefferson to Atlanta, along with a pick swap between both of the teams for their 2025 draft picks. Again, Jefferson has struggled to make an impact with the Rams this season thanks to the emergence of rookie wideout Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell have begun getting more targets, and the Falcons are hoping to add a little bit more of a veteran presence with Drake London and Kyle Pitts among their current pass catchers, still in their second, third seasons in the NFL. That's your 2020 Sports Update. We'll have more for you here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hasn't thrown a slider yet. He's got to throw a fastball here to him.
3-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging. Ginkel came back from a 3-0 count and gets Muncy striking out. First pitch. Ground ball to short. Perdomo's got it. They get the out at second. The throw to first. In time. Double play.
Kevin Ginkel, U of A baseball class of 2016, continuing to just hurl it in the postseason. A scoreless eighth inning last night to set up Paul Sewald for a 4-2 win. And the Diamondbacks are up 2-0. Let's tell you how this one went down.
Diamondbacks download.
Baseball stuff! Baseball stuff!
And as we indicated in the very first inning, once again, the D-backs would go to work to jump out to a big lead in Los Angeles.
A drive to center. Outman turns, going way back with a leap, and he makes the catch against the wall. The runners tag, at least the two lead runners do. Carroll scores. Marte to third. 1-0 Arizona.
Runners at first and third, and the batter is Gabby Marino with one man out.
Uncontested stolen base. Now second and third. 2-2 pitch from Miller to Moreno. Is bounced to short. It'll play to run. Rojas's throw takes care of Moreno, but it's 2-0 Arizona.
Gurriel now with the runners still in scoring position.
Gurriel lines it to center. This will bring another run home. Here comes Pham, and it's 3-0 Diamondbacks.
Another great at bat. This time he got a fastball at 99.8 miles an hour, and he turned it around and hit it 104 right back up the middle.
3-0 in the first inning for the Arizona Diamondbacks. 9 runs in the first inning in the 2 games in Los Angeles. It would stay that way till the 4th. J.D. Martinez, remember? J.D. was a snake for a very brief period of time. I believe he was on that last team that went to the postseason, if I'm not mistaken, in 2017. He would hit a home run for Los Angeles to get them back to within 3-1. That was in the 4th. But in the 6th, it would be a home run for the Snakes.
Gurriel comes to the plate.
He lifts one to deep left. Back goes Peralta, and he will watch it leave the yard.
Solo shot for Gurriel. It's his first of the postseason, and the Diamondbacks get that run right back. It's 4-1.
What a huge home run that is.
Diamondbacks, though, would get into some trouble in the bottom half of the 6th inning. L.A. would scratch out a run. They had the bases loaded looking for more.
It's Martinez at third, Taylor at second, and Hernandez at first for Outman. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Huge strikeout for Salfrank.
Big out by Salfrank and hands it off to Ryan Thompson.
Chopper to the right side. It's a fair ball. Walker's got it, takes it himself.
And the threat is over. The Dodgers, they get 1 on 3 hits and a walk, but they leave them loaded.
So Andrew Salfrank, a little bit of trouble there. Gave up a hit and a walk. We got the strikeout and then handed over to Ryan Thompson. Thompson would go an inning and a third and would have a strikeout, did not allow a single base hit. We told you what Kevin Ginkel did in the 8th inning, inducing a ground ball to erase a walk he had given up, and they handed it off to Paul Sewald in the 9th.
Sewald's 1-2 delivery is ripped to left. Ooh, a difficult chance for Gurriel Jr. Maybe he made it so. Might have misjudged it a little bit. Was hit very hard, but right at him.
1-2 the count here on Outman with 1 out in the 9th. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 2 outs in the 9th inning, and here's Wong. Mookie Betts moves out on deck. Wong grounded out his only at bat as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning.
In the air to center field. And the Arizona Diamondbacks, who finished 16 games behind the Dodgers during the regular season, go into Milwaukee and win them both, sweeping the wild card series. Come into Dodger Stadium and come away with a 2-game lead as they go back to Arizona in this best 3 out of 5.
Back to the desert for game number 3. It'll be Wednesday night at Chase Field with first pitch at 6:07. The starting pitcher last night was the Cy Young Award-winning candidate. That would be Zach Gallen. And Zach, 5 1/3 innings, allowed 2 earned runs on 5 hits, did walk 2, did allow the home run to J.D. Martinez, struck out 4. Let's hear from Zach Gallen after last night's ball game.
AJ, and then we'll go to Barry.
Zach, Steve was telling me to ask how you felt on the mound tonight.
I asked if he got banned for his silly question from the other day. That's why he's not in here. Yeah, I mean, I felt fine. I felt like it started to click when I got out there. Bullpen felt all right. And then when I got out there, just kind of got into the flow of the game. But yeah, delivery just felt solid. I felt like everything was coming out of my hand pretty solid for the most part.
Given all that, the decision in the 6th inning, knowing how good the bullpen has been, does that make it a little easier for you to kind of acknowledge and see the way to what those guys are doing? Yeah, for sure. Obviously, I don't like coming out, especially in the middle of an inning, especially in the 6th when I feel like I was throwing fine. But Torrey, had laid it out for me just kind of before the inning and then after the inning, and I get it. I mean, it's October. If that's what he felt like was going to put us in the best position to win, I'm fine with it. And I mean, I think it worked out. So yeah, it's fine by me. How would you describe kind of the mindset of the group, having won 2 games here, but also knowing that it's going to take one more to get where you're trying to get to? Yeah, for sure. I mean, job's not finished really. I think Kobe was talking about is like, what's there to be happy about, really? I think it's a good spot for us to be in, playing with a little confidence. Come in. I don't think it's any secret that we've come in here and struggled. So I think it was good for us, just mentally ourselves, just to come in here and set the tone. Have a little faith in ourselves, and then, hopefully go home and finish the job.
Barry.
Zach, the great season that you had, how much it prepared you to get to this point? I mean, the 4 that really stick out in my mind in the last month are you went to Wrigley, you went to Yankee Stadium, you went to Milwaukee, now you go to Dodger Stadium, and basically you win all these games.
Yeah. I try to have a short and long-term memory, short, whether it's good or bad, but at the same time, just honestly create a good foundation and keep trying to build on it. We've been playing playoff baseball since the middle of August, I think. So just kind of coming into all those starts with a heightened sense of urgency is kind of, I think, prepared us pretty well for, these games now. We've been playing with, that urgency to get in, but we obviously dug ourselves a little bit of hole. So it was kind of our own doing, but maybe it worked out in the long run.
That classic line from Kobe Bryant raises its head once again. Job's not finished. What's there to be happy about? Job's not finished. I like that mentality.
Job's not done. Gotta finish
one thing
more.
to be happy about is Lance Lynn, who's going to be the starter for the Dodgers the next game. His ERA is 5.73. So,
and who do we? I would imagine Brandon Pfaadt.
Correct.
Pfaadt.
He's listed as the starter for the Diamondbacks. Yeah.
So the rookie will have a chance.
If he can bring out a little bit of what he had in Milwaukee, I think they'll be in a pretty good spot to start the game at the very least.
He threw some. I mean, he was getting strikeouts in Milwaukee. He just, gave up some hits and some runs. But, yeah, he was getting strikeouts.
The bad news is Lance Lynn, since coming over from the White Sox, is 9-2 in his starts with the Dodgers. And his ERA has come down, way down. His ERA at one point this season was in the mid-7s. So he's actually 43rd among starting pitchers in Major League Baseball with his 573 currently. But yeah, he's only given up 9 runs in his last 4 starts. So he's pitching a lot better now than he did when he was in Chicago. But still, that 573 is not a. I mean, the way the Diamondbacks are hitting the ball these days, guys. I mean, they should be happy to see that.
And aggressive hitters.
Yes.
That's the other part of it.
All right, if you're heading up to Chase Field tomorrow night, we want to hear from you. Are you excited about this opportunity to close out the Dodgers and go swimming? 520-848-1290. 520, well, you won't get to go swimming, but you can watch the players go swimming. 520-848-1290. I wonder if they even open up. I mean, that's like a regular season promotion. I would wonder if they even open the pool for the promotion in the postseason. I don't remember if they do that or not. They would have
for hitting the ball in the pool.
No, I mean like for people to actually rent the pool during the postseason.
I bet you what they do is they close it down. Like if it looks like Diamondbacks are going to win and they're closing a series, they'll probably close the pool area down around the 8th inning and clear everybody out just in case.
Exactly. Y'all got to get out of here because we're about to celebrate in this pool. 2 games tonight happening. Houston is leading Minnesota 6-1, and Baltimore will play Texas. That game starts at 5:00. The Orioles head to Dallas down 2-0. Texas, the other red-hot team that has won all 4 of their games on the road in the postseason, having swept Tampa Bay and then going to Baltimore and winning the first 2 games of that series.
Boy, that was a sad sight seeing both of those games get swept out in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Oh, we're excited for playoff baseball back in the state of Oh, no.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than that. Nothing worse than not being in the playoffs in a long time and then you get beat up at home in the first 2 games.
Hey, this is going to be Arizona's first home game, so don't put any karma out there.
No,
like
no,
that,
no,
'cause,
absolutely
same
not.
thing can happen to the Diamondbacks.
All right, let's get Robert in real quick here. Robert, you're on no. Oh, this is our winner from okay, so are we gonna try to talk to him later? Because I think we have a guest coming up next. Oh, okay. Robert, how are you?
I'm very blessed. How are you guys doing?
Good. Congratulations. You are last week's winner in the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge for correctly picking the Saints to beat the New England Patriots. But how did you know they were going to win so big?
Well, Alvin Kamara helped.
and Mac Jones helped.
Yeah, like I said last week, I always believe that the starting quarterback has a lot to do with who's going to win, and I guess my prediction went through because even Mac Jones was pulled in the 4th quarter.
Yeah. Things are bad. I was listening to I guess Bill Belichick does a radio show up at the All Sports station in Boston, and those were some quick answers he was giving on that radio show.
Quicker than normal?
Yeah, they were much quicker than. And it's interesting because they came here last year. I don't know if you remember this, Robert, but they came here and trained for a week at the U of A. And I thought his press conferences last year, you're going in there thinking, oh, my God, this is going to be really bad. But he was great. He was absolutely great. He was not angry. He answered most of the questions, and he wasn't he was still Bill, but I asked him a couple of questions about stuff, and he was really just not what you would have thought based on what you've seen in the media.
Right.
So
I just want to see
well, we can't put everything on Mac Jones because the guy just did not have time to do anything. That front line was not giving him any kind of protection.
They have a lot of issues there. A lot of issues.
Yeah.
Belichick the coach may be unflappable, but Belichick the GM, a lot of questions on that.
I hear you.
Well, Robert is taking home a $25 gift card courtesy of Miller Lite. Robert, don't spend that all in one place.
No, I won't. Hey, next time you guys need another winner, let me know.
Absolutely. You can get in line behind the other 4 winners that we've had so far this year. I haven't won since week 1, man. I can't I'm trying to turn this money over for somebody to win big pots, but it's just not happening.
To be fair, DK, the callers are the ones picking, so you're just you're laying it out there, and they're picking correctly.
I'm trying to pick difficult games, but they all seem to end up being blowouts. So I don't know. Robert, congratulations.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
I appreciate this.
Call
All right.
again. Getting
We'll
you
be in
home
touch.
every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Here's Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Near the U of A Speedway and Euclid and Speedway with a reported collision. Also clearing in Oro Valley. Oracle and Pushview Lane was a hit-and-run wreck at Oracle and Pushview Lane. And clear skies and 68 as our low, breezy, sunny and about 95 tomorrow and 93 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer.
Warning, if you are 60 or older, RSV can be a dangerous respiratory virus.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. This message is brought to you by Pfizer.
Sam knows when people want some pizza, they search for pizza near me. Sam also knows if Sam's Pizza doesn't prominently appear when that map returns with pizza shops, well, then Sam's Pizza is not on the map.
Cumulus Boost can help by consistently managing Sam's online listings, managing reviews, and dozens of other things a search engine uses to put businesses on the map. Cumulus Boost helps make sure Sam gets the click. Cumulus Boost. Get on the map. CUMULUSBoost.com.
1290 brings you the passion of football like no one else.
Pittsburgh 12, 3rd and 7 for Mahomes. In the gun, flanked by the running back McKinnon. Shotgun snap, they rush 5, pump fake and a line drive into the end zone, over the shoulder catch in the back corner. It is caught for the touchdown. Grab by Pringle.
This season, 1290 will bring you almost 100 NFL and college football games. It's not flexing, it's just the truth. Scoreboard.
two are currently with Coach Adia Barnes for today's Pac-12 media coverage for the women's side. And the Braves managed to survive a scary game against the Phillies as they rallied back to take the lead, but it was an impossible defensive play and a gaffe on the base paths that ended up giving Atlanta the win.
He deals a 2-2. Castellanos in the air to right center field. Harris is on the run. Harris at the track. He leaps and he makes the catch. Harper might be doubled up. The throw gets away. The throw to first. It's over. It's over. Harper never tagged. He couldn't get back. And it's a double up to end game 2. Wow.
The Braves throwing out Harper at first managed to go and have Atlanta split the first 2 games at their home field as they now turn the series over to Philadelphia. That's your 2020 Sports Update. We'll have more for you here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, let's chat some indoor football. The Tucson Sugar Skulls have hired their latest head coach, and he joins us now. His name is Billy Back in his first season with the Tucson Sugar Skulls. And Billy, you have coached just about every, I think, indoor football league imaginable. I've seen you were in the professional indoor football league. You've been in the IFL. How many different leagues have you been a head coach in so far in your career?
I think about 6. I think 6 leagues. I never thought this would be my career, but it's been a journey.
So how did that happen? Then it looks like you played some football at back in my old neighborhood of Ohio, down south in Miami of Ohio. How did you happen to fall into Arena Football League and make that a career for yourself?
Well, I got released from minor league baseball and figured I need to do something with my life, so I started playing flag football. And went to a flag football tournament in Columbus, Ohio, and the Columbus Destroyers in the AFL were there passing out flyers for their tryout. And I figured, why not? I'll spend $85 and come to a fundraiser for you. And went up there and making one-handed catches on guys that I've watched in college. Joe Cooper, just Buckeyes. I'm a Buckeye fan, so I was starstruck. But I had a great day, and they offered to sign me, and I think I was there through training camp, and ended up playing with a team called the Dayton Warbirds after that. And I'd asked my wife permission if I was allowed to play arena football, and she said, "Really, professional flag football? That's great." I said, "No, it's shoulder pads and helmets." And 6 years of playing, and 15 years later coaching. It's been what I've been doing the last half of my life.
So now, how did Tucson come onto your radar? Obviously, we've had a team for a number of years, and we've kind of gone through head coaches over the years. How did Tucson come onto your radar, and kind of what was attractive about this opportunity for you?
Well, when Tucson first came in the league, I was actually the coach at the Spokane Shock in the same league. And I remember my wife and I sitting listening to KG and Kathy introduce the team, and we were trying to guess the name. And when they came out with the Sugar Skulls, the name, I kind of looked at my wife, and she looked at me, and she just said, "I like it." I was like, "Yeah, I kind of do too, and I hate that I do." And because Kevin Guy was always a rival, coach, a coach that's respected to this business, hands down, and for him to put another team in the league was pretty awesome. But we've played them a few times and beaten them every time, and had to throw that out there. But they've always been a competitive team in the league. It's been a team that's always had the facilities. They've always had the players, and they just never got over the hump. And then when the job came open, and I had my contract was open to sign somewhere else, and Kevin and I became, pretty good friends, and talking to Kathy and the ownership with the Sugar Skulls, and flew into Tucson and looked at it, and looked at the facilities they had, the city itself, and I thought, man, this is a great place. This is a great fit. And they want to win. I want to win, and so we agreed to it.
We're joined by Billy Back, the new head coach of the Tucson Sugar Skulls. I know one thing that's going to make folks happy is that you guys have begun to make some signings and bringing back some of the favorite guys on the team. Looks like Mike Jones is going to be back. Ramon Atkins is coming back. When you looked at this roster and saw guys like that and Carrington Thompson, was that immediate, hey, these are guys that I definitely want on my ball club?
Yeah, when you look at their roster last season, they started off 3-0. Beat the 3 top teams in the league. With the roster they had, it was a young group of kids that could play with some superstars like Carrington, Mike, Ramon, Raji Hodge on the defensive side, Maurice Jackson. So guys can play. I mean, and then you add in all the young guys that they added throughout the year. Our goal is to sign back every player from that current roster that we can, and then add some new ones to compete. And so we want to give everybody the opportunity to come back. But with the players they have in the roster, plus the facilities and the city itself and support of the fans, it was a no-brainer for us.
So when you look at how you want to build this, then what do you believe? Obviously, like you just said, there's a lot of talent on this team. What is missing? What do you think that you can add to get this team over to the hump? They've gotten to the postseason, but they've just never been able to get past that first game of the postseason.
I think first and foremost, I love Ramon. We got to have better, consistent quarterback play. There's a lot of slow reads on some things, a lot of easy money that was passed up. But at the same time, we need to have an attacking defense. A lot of their defensive scheme last season was zone, kind of bend, don't break, lower scoring ball games, but you're not getting stops. And so we're going to put pressure on teams. We're going to make the quarterback look down the barrel of the gun, play man to man, and just bring the heat, pressure them. And that's just the style I've played and coached the last 15 seasons. Offensively, we're going to move the ball fast. No huddle offense, a lot of misdirection stuff, but a lot of basic stuff too. Our bread and butter, we call it RTR. Hate to say it, but it's roll tide roll. But it's a go post go pass route that's all reads and it's always open. And I hate to say that too, but I coached Blake Sims a couple years ago, and he came up with the dang word, and it stuck. So, we're gonna be fast. And the thing about us, and I'm gonna be honest, we've led the league in penalties every year.
Ooh.
And we've been the top team in every league while leading the league in penalties. So we play with an attitude. We have a chip on our shoulder when we play. Hopefully not as many penalties this year as we had in the past, but I want our guys to be aggressive, and I want to be the bullies. And that's just how we play, with the mentality we go out. Teams, respect us, and opposing fans hate us. So that's just how we go about it.
Billy Back joining us, the new head coach of the Tucson Sugar Skulls. When you sat down with Kathy Guy, were there any concerns you had because she's had so many head coaches about a short leash?
No. I just feel like that, the coaches, Coach Wooten was there for 2 years, and I feel like there's, he knows some things that he did right, did wrong. Coach Shen had situations with his fiance being married, wanted to get back closer to the East Coast, which is why, he moved on. Marcus early on was, he was the first coach of a new franchise. So you're getting new players, putting new players in place. The structure's being built, the culture's being built. So, this league, this profession turns over a lot. I've coached places 2 or 3 years at a time, and then the team shuts down, and I move on to the next place, and it's a revolving door a lot. And but knowing Kathy and knowing the staff, they give you the tools to be successful. And it's about being successful and during the 16-week season with the 3 bye weeks, and then knowing that the second season is the playoffs, and that's what you're there for. And so the IFL itself is the most competitive league to be in when it comes to the arena game. The AFL was great, but this IFL, it's true football. It's outside football brought inside, so you have to game plan. You have to have your halftime adjustments. And clock management, if you look back at the films from the last couple of years, clock management is a lot of reasons why they didn't get over that 9-game winning hump. They lost some games late for certain reasons, but it's about just enjoying what you're doing. It's a one season at a time type thing. So, I signed a 3-year contract and plan to be there for 3 years, if not longer, and get this team over the hump.
Real quick, you mentioned just the differences between the IFL and the AFL. What makes that so? What makes it maybe more of an outdoor game than maybe so in the AFL?
Well, the IFL, you get a 2x2 look, 2 receivers, 3x1, a 3x0 set. Where the AFL, you get a 2x1 and a 3x0, 3 receivers and 2 receivers on one side, 1 receiver on the other. You have a MAC in the box, so it's more of a high-low gimmick game. In the AFL, it's a high-low read. You only have 3 DBs. To where in the IFL, you can drop a defensive end in the pass coverage. So you can go a true cover 3, and have all 6 holes covered, 6/3 covered, or you can drop your nose, you can blitz one guy. Your linebacker doesn't have to stay in the box. So there's more traditional outdoor rules. It still has the indoor, the belt rule, the linebacker is stationary, no twists and stunts, but there's more of a run game, a more zone run concept in shotgun, jet sweeps. You run your more traditional routes, like your dig routes, your post routes, opposed to the wall route and just the China route, the outside, the deep sail. So it gets guys more prepared to play in the outdoor game now that we're partners with the XFL and the USFL, the CFL. That these guys get better opportunities, more movement in the IFL to get guys outside, and we're going towards younger players each year to get these guys opportunities. It's just more. It's more of it's chess. It's chess opposed to checkers.
Well, you've given me some good lines here. I like high-low gimmick game. I got easy money and roll tide road. I like all that stuff. Billy, hey, we're looking forward to it. It's one of our favorite things to keep us busy during the summertime out here in Tucson, and we're looking forward to watching you and this team get going in March and hopefully bring that title back here to Tucson.
Well, we're excited to be out there. We're looking forward to it. So thank you for having me on.
Yeah, next time we talk, we'll talk a bit more about this partnership you guys have got going on, like you mentioned, with the XFL and USFL. That's going to be very interesting, I think, for how this all plays out down the line. Billy, thank you so much.
No, thanks for having me.
Billy Back, the new head coach of the Tucson Sugar Skulls, our guest. Let's see, man. That team has had some opportunities, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Billy can do with it and hopefully bring a title back here. It's a fun thing to have around here in Tucson during the summertime, and it would be nice to have some championships to go along with some of our professional teams like the Sugar Skulls and the Tucson Roadrunners, who get started this Friday down in Texas. So we've got hockey now on the horizon. We'll talk more about that later in the week. This is DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collision at Speedway and Euclid and Speedway, a crash clearing. A vehicle fire on Speedway near Rosemont, east of Rosemont on Speedway. 68 the low with clear skies overnight. Breezy, sunny, and 95 tomorrow and 93 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
Sponsored by Discover. If you like using debit over credit, shouldn't you also get rewarded? Well, now you can.
1290. 2020 Sports.
Arizona Cardinals running back James Conner took a turn today as the team announced that Conner is now a candidate for the short-term injured reserve list as his knee injury he suffered on Sunday turned out to be worse than they initially expected. As a candidate for IR, it means Conner would have to go ahead and sit out a mandatory of 4 weeks before he could have a chance to return to the team, still looking to see if they can get a return from Kyler Murray, who is on the PUP still. The NHL season is about to drop the puck for the 2023-2024 season, but many hockey fans got some very tough news today. As one of the key voices of hockey coverage the past few years, Barry Melrose has announced that he will be retiring after it was revealed that he has been officially diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Melrose has been involved in hockey for the past 50 years as a player, a coach, and analyst, and he will now take a step away from the game he loves. And just a reminder that we love you very much, Barry. Be well. That's your 2020 Sports Update. We'll have more for you here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names. David Scott Kelly.
Astros are absolutely putting the wood to the Minnesota Twins in Game 3 of the American League Division Series tonight in Minneapolis. Yordan Alvarez is just an absolute beast. He has now hit 4 home runs in the first 3 games of this series. I mean, if you know it's the postseason when Yordan just starts hitting bombs. I think he hit a big 3-run bomb in Game 6 last year to pretty much clinch the World Championship for the Houston Astros. Abreu has hit 2 home runs today.
First time in his career, a multiple home run game in the postseason. Not bad for a 36-year-old slugger.
Yeah, he's old, man.
Still got a little bit of something left in that tank.
Jose Abreu. Not bad at all. So the Astros and our buddy Francisco Romero will be up 2-1. I don't know why I thought these were 7-game series, but they're not. They're just 5. So it's the best of our first one to win 3, which is why the Diamondbacks have a chance to close it out tomorrow night here in Arizona against the Dodgers. And just sad to hear about Dragon Ball's update there. Barry Melrose, a longtime analyst in the National Hockey League and a guy that was the head coach for a while back in the Los Angeles Kings when I was living out in California. Just a great mind when it comes to hockey, but dealing with Parkinson's and is going to have to step away from that. That's just sad to hear.
Barry Melrose has been such a key part in keeping the NHL's coverage on ESPN alive, I feel like, since he got hired on with the station back in the late 90s, mid-90s, 96, if I'm not mistaken. And that classic mullet, didn't think it was going to translate well to TV, but Barry has been a terrific campaigner for hockey. And I'm going to desperately miss him as much as I miss Doc Emmerich, who was the voice of the hockey games going on for a long time when I was a kid. But I'm hoping the well for him and his family. I know this is likely not going to be a very easy thing for him to adjust to. Is that Parkinson's is not an easy thing, but wishing him all the best and thanking him for all the memories.
The Suns play tonight.
Do they?
At the Footprint Center against their arch nemesis, the Denver Nuggets.
They play, but they also don't play. Nobody is going to be in uniform. So
nobody's playing in this one.
No, they got
not likely.
They got Booker, KD, and Beal all sitting, is what I read.
Oh, okay. Is Aaron Gordon going to play tonight for the Nuggets?
I don't know. That's a good question. I do know that in Nuggets news, Coach Malone's father passed away today, Brendan Malone.
Oh, wow.
He was an assistant on the Pistons when they had the 2 titles in the late 80s, the Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Dennis Rodman Pistons. He was an assistant on those teams. He was the first head coach of the Toronto Raptors way back in '95 for their inaugural season as well. And his dad, obviously, or his son, obviously last year won their first title for the Nuggets. So he passed away this morning as well.
And last night we had the Thunder beat the Spurs 122-121. Victor Wembanyama, 8 of 13, 20 points, and just making steals from inside the lane.
Yeah, I had to send you guys that clip because he had his right foot was at the 3-point line, guys, and his left foot was at the free throw line. I didn't know that was physically possible. And meanwhile, he was swiping down on a ball, which he got, and then leaked out for a dunk. But I do have a couple of highlights, and the best thing about this is just the awness and amazement by the announcers, right, who see amazing plays every single night. But the way that they call these, I just think is great.
Spurs harass Wallace into a turnover, and comes back out to Victor. 6 on the shot clock. Deep motors in the lane. Scoop shot. Oh, my goodness.
This one here, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful ball fake, spin move, up and underneath. Hangs in the air. Beautiful use of the left hand. I mean, he's beating a smaller guy off the dribble there, and he's taking it right at a 7'1" Chet Holmgren.
Tucson's own Sean Elliott.
The voice of the greatest basketball player in Arizona Wildcats basketball history, Sean Elliott. He knows a thing or two. He also played with the Admiral and Tim Duncan, so he knows a thing or two about bigs who can play this game. So when you hear the awe in his voice there with that up and under around Chet Holmgren. Now, Chet Holmgren was the number 2 overall pick last year. He sat out all year because of an injury. The two of them moving forward, that's the kind of the benchmark for the future of 7-footers in the NBA. These are guys, DK, who are more small forward than they are center. They really play a lot face up. Wembanyama had a hard between the legs dribble when he finished over Chet, a little bit of a headbutt to his face, but it wasn't the finish. It was the hard between the legs dribble in traffic for a guy who's listed at 7'3", but really probably closer to 7'5", if we're honest. Unbelievable skills. Now the question is physicality, DK. I mean, we know all the players in the NBA are going to be coming for that guy as the number 1 pick, and what some people say is the best prospect since LeBron. But watching him play, he just looked very comfortable out there. And defensively, he had a couple of recoveries on blocks. One time he got passed by on a crossover, made a recovery, David Kelly, that only Victor Wembanyama could possibly make. I think he's the only person. Gobert cannot move his feet as quickly, and nobody else has the length. So defensively, I think he's going to make an impact from day one. I think the question is, Popovich and those guys at the Spurs, they're trying to figure out how many touches he's going to get on the block, how many touches he's going to get on the perimeter. They don't know where to play him yet because there's nobody like him. They don't have a blueprint for what that kind of guy needs to fit into an NBA system. So they're working it out. But all I know is defensively from the start, he's going to be a problem because he's blocking shots that people have just not been able to block in the past.
If he's blocking shots and making steals from, with his wingspan, that is a problem for sure.
That steal was from like 8 or 10 feet away. And I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Bill Land, the voice of the Spurs. Oh, mama, Wembanyama. I like that. That might be the phrase of the year right there.
That did not take long. I think that was in the first quarter. So, yeah.
All right, we'll keep our eyes on that as the preseason goes along here. And
really quick, if I may, DK. Also, in other NBA news,
this
morning, Luka got to go back and play against his old team. Apparently, he's injured, so they limited only to 5 minutes. But Luka went back and played Real Madrid, which is where he came from. Real Madrid won that game 127-123 early this morning. But it was a really nice gesture. Obviously, they've always tried to do their best. There's a good connection between especially probably the most famous international team and the NBA. So it was a nice gesture for them. And I watched the intro that they showed of him making all his plays back when he was winning EuroLeague MVPs at a 17-year-old or whatever. And it was just a really nice moment this morning as well.
Well, the Suns game is on TV tonight. It'll be on TNT, so you can watch that game between the Suns and the Nuggets and see who is playing at 7 o'clock. I'm still not sure if I can watch the Suns on TV here in Tucson. I like the fact that Xavier Gutierrez came on our show, and the first thing out of his mouth was last Friday, here's how you can watch the games. I'd love for somebody from the Suns to come on the show and tell me, here's how you can watch the games in Tucson.
On that note, I did read an article this morning about the Suns passing antennas out to fans. They have a program where they're giving antennas out circa 1981 so that you can get your antenna up on your roof and you can get the free, because I think it's Family Network. What's it called? Arizona Family Network.
Arizona Family Network, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the company that's going to be picking up all the free. They said they were going to be able to reach 3 million Suns fans that would not be able to get games in the past. I mean, it's a great program, but yeah, I did hear they're passing out an antenna. I don't know if you got one, DK, but I think there's your answer. That's how you watch the games.
Well,
the games that will be on the Family Network.
Yes.
Not all games will be.
Okay. I'd like to know if it's going to be on Comcast, though. That would be good to know.
Also, our boy Benedict Mathurin is suiting up in about 50 minutes against the Houston Rockets. So that's something else to watch as well.
Benedict Mathurin, preseason. When's the regular season starts when?
It's not too far away. I don't have the exact date, but I think it's like, I'd have to look it up. Let me see. Not too far. It's like 3 weeks.
Okay. All right. Congratulations to Ismary Martinez and Helena Puello attaining all Pac-12 preseason accolades today for Arizona women's basketball. Martinez was the preseason all Pac-12 team. She was honorable mention last year, and this is her fifth year playing college basketball. And Puello, also an honorable mention Pac-12 preseason selection. So had a chance to talk to both of those young ladies at the Women's Basketball Media Day. And so you'll hear those interviews coming up here, not today, but coming up in the near future. We also had a chance to hear today from them as well as head coach Adia Barnes. And we'll play you some of Adia Barnes' comments coming up a little bit later in the show. The women's basketball season begins on Wednesday, October the 25th. So that'll be 2 weeks from tomorrow with an exhibition game against West Texas A&M.
NBA is the 24th, the day
24th.
before. So
Okay.
2 weeks from today, Los Angeles Lakers taking on the Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns versus the Golden State Warriors. That's opening day, Thursday, October 24th.
And the men's basketball season for the U of A will start on Friday, October the 20th. So that'll be basically about 10 days out at McHale Center. They'll play their first exhibition game of the season. They will be on the floor in Las Vegas for Media Day tomorrow. So we will hear from head coach Tommy Lloyd and the players as well. We'll have some of that for you coming up tomorrow. It's just around the corner, folks. Hoops is here. Bye week. Next week for football after they make the trek to Washington State to take on the Wazoo Cougars this Saturday. And we'll have that game for you right here starting with our coverage at 11:30 a.m. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather is Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Reported collisions, Dove Mountain and Moore Road and Dove Mountain, and near the U of A Speedway and Euclid and Speedway. Eastbound I-10 closed east of the town of Wilcox due to a collision. Eastbound I-10 closed, milepost 354. Overnight tonight, clear skies, 68 the low, breezy, sunny, and 95 tomorrow, and 93 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Try Wendy's new pumpkin spice frost.
1290. 2020 Sports.
Another game, another win out in La La Land for the D-backs. Arizona once again went into Dodger Stadium and took another victory in the National League Division Series. The Dodgers could not make a comeback after Lourdes Gurriel put the final touches with an extra shot into the stadium seats.
Marlin. He lifts one to deep left. Back goes Peralta, and he will watch it leave the yard.
A big series again on the side of that ball. That looks more like a breaking ball, not the cutter that Lauren was talking about. He went down and got it. I'll tell you the kind of power that Gurriel has.
This one off the bat of Lourdes Gurriel Jr. makes it 4-1 Arizona as we go to the bottom of the sixth.
Arizona now have a chance to sweep the Dodgers in their next game as Brandon Pfaadt will try to go ahead and build off his impressive start to the playoffs back in the wild card round against Milwaukee for Game 3. Other baseball playoff games starting up today, the Twins and Astros continue their series in the Twin Cities. Both clubs try to go ahead and take a series lead in that game after splitting the first two games out in Houston. And the Rangers have a chance to go ahead and sweep the Orioles. Baltimore desperately needing to go ahead and rally back to avoid being swept in the East Division Series. The Rangers could be the first team to reach the championship series today. That's your 2020 Sports Update. We'll have more for you here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
He's not fat. He's fought. Fought. Dragon Ball fought.
Fought.
Is that German?
Anybody who starts their name PF.
It's usually something a little bit. Then it doesn't help that it's the double A's right after that, so it's
There should be some little dots
Brandon
above those A's, I think.
I think it should be a situation where with every athlete there should be an enunciation guide on every website that their name is printed in.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful.
There you go. There you go.
I looked up his name because when he was joining the Diamondbacks, I looked up his name and there were only 500 people in the world.
I remember
the
this
surname. Yeah, it was a very, very rare because I pride myself as somebody who's seen a lot of people's names over the years, and Fat is one that I had never heard before, so I had to look it up.
All right, the Astros have defeated the Twins in Game 3, 9-1. So they lead that series now 2-1. They can close it out on Wednesday afternoon. They'll be the first of 4 games tomorrow in the baseball playoffs. It'll be Houston and Minnesota, Atlanta and Philadelphia will play Game 3. Baltimore and Texas will play Game 4, and LA and Arizona will play Game 3.
If we get to a Game 4.
That's true.
that Game 4 is a very big if.
That's true. That's true. Very much so. Very much so. You never know. All right. I want to go back and talk about. So I put this stat out yesterday about the debate that is Jaden DeLora versus Noah Fafita. And we talked about it a little bit. And I went back and I looked at because the first things I wanted to know, the thing that stands out to me is that the Wildcats offense just is simply not scoring enough this season. Not scoring nearly to the level that we thought that they would. And you go back and you look at some of these games last year. I mean, they went up to Seattle last year and scored 39 points on the road. They can't even get to 35 points in games this year. And so I was interested to see, obviously they got to 41 in this game, but it took 3 overtimes to get there. It was 28 at the end of regulation. So they didn't have 30 points Saturday night in Los Angeles. And so the first thing that came to my mind was, well, I wonder what, if you break it down, points per possession for these two quarterbacks, it's probably going to be right about the same. And so I looked that up, and it was. Noah Fafita has a higher points per possession. And again, I took out the garbage possessions at the end of halves where the offense is really not trying to score. And it was 3.0 in favor of Noah Fafita and 2.7 in terms of Jaden DeLora. And oh my goodness, did that bring the vultures out? And I mean, I enjoy. One of the reasons why I came back to radio is because I absolutely love to fight with these trolls. I did it all through. I did it all through the Sean Miller fiasco, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So the first thing people wanted to point out was, well, what about the turnovers? No question about that. The first 2 games, Jayden DeLore threw 5 interceptions. Actually, it was 2. Yeah, first 2 games, because he threw 2 against Northern Arizona and he threw 3 in 3 straight possessions at Mississippi State. So absolutely, Jayden DeLore has a higher turnover per possession. Somebody, Rob Boron, I believe is his name, put that number out there. So Jayden DeLore's turnovers per possession are higher than Noah Fafita's. Now, Jayden DeLore, as we said yesterday, has not turned the ball over in 10 quarters. Okay, the last 3 quarters at Mississippi State, the 4 quarters against UTEP, and the first 3 quarters against Stanford. So did I say 10-8? Or no, I'm sorry, 10. Yeah, 10 quarters. So he's gone 10 quarters without turning it over. So then the next thing that came out from these folks, from you all out there, you know who you are, was that, Jayden was playing lesser competition than Noah Fafita, who was playing 2 top 10 teams. Duly noted. But at the end of the day, a game is a game. You play the games in front of you. And so the next stat I put out today, I went back and said, okay, well, let's see. Everybody's talking about how Noah Fafita has done this against 2 top 10 teams. All right, well, let's see what the records are against ranked opponents. Jayden DeLore in his career is 1-6 against ranked opponents. Noah Fafita is 0-2. So neither one of these guys is winning a whole lot of games against ranked opponents. And I just want to read a few of these comments, man. It's crazy. Some of these comments are funny. Some of them are good. Again, some people will throw good stuff out there, but most people just want to throw crap out there. Max Power checks in. Is it dumb take day? Nobody told me it was dumb take day. That was from Max Power.
Did he give a smart take after?
No, he didn't. No,
okay.
Exactly. No. There's no. Not too many of these people actually come back with something analytical of their own.
Right. That's what trolling is.
Yeah. Kenny Sumner checks in. Dumb comparison considering the teams Noah has faced. That goes back to that right there. What I said earlier. Some guy named Arizona, as in ERA. Arizona. What coach did that? Was that Sumlin that did the ERA Zona? I forget who did that. Arizona podcast. He checks in. This is the kind of analysis a dude that doesn't carry his weight when he takes loans provides. Who did JDL play and who did Noah play? Noah played 2 top 10 teams. And since you brought it up, Arizona podcast, shout out to my administration, my current governmental administration, for getting rid of my student loans. Absolutely happy about that. Absolutely happy about that. Since you brought it up. Appreciate that. Mass appreciation to the administration. Despite everything that was tried to be done to stop that, they still came through and dispersed my student loans.
If I may briefly, I think the dumbest thing about a lot of the short form trolling type of comments on the internet these days is nuance has no place. So all of these things are true. Noah Fafita played better teams than Jayden DeLore. All of this is true. But none of this takes into factor the play calling at the beginning of games. Like, you can go back and look at game 1, 2, and 3, and the reason they didn't score, other than against NAU in some of those games, is they couldn't get the run game going DK. The line wasn't blocking. Go back and look at these last 2 games. They got the run game going quite well. What do the quarterbacks have to do with that? Like, there's a lot of nuance that goes into the success of the quarterbacks.
Right.
It's 11 guys on the field. So the play calling by the coaching staff and how well those guys are blocking, and the defensive line for USC is the most suspect part of their whole team, right? So, I mean, again, if you're talking about the success that they had versus this previous opponent, that offense is insane. Same with Washington. But relative to those 2 defenses, it's not in a vacuum that these are top 10 teams, meaning they have all-world defenses. You know what I mean? So success, there's nuance required and involved in all of the factors that go into that success. And clearly, Noah Fifita is very worthy of the freshman player of the year. I mean, of the week, excuse me. I mean, he was as good as you could ever ask any quarterback to come in, especially in his first and second starts in those 2 games versus the Huskies and the Trojans. I think people love a quarterback controversy. I mean, we've all been around this sports world for a long time. As soon as the backup comes in and performs slightly better, and especially when the starting quarterback has some off-field issues over the summer and then throws 3 interceptions in the first quarter on the road in a winnable game that they could. That's the big crux of this. If they had lost that game to Mississippi State by 4 touchdowns, nobody would care. But because that was a winnable game and he threw 3 interceptions, everybody's going to look to that. So I'm just saying there's a little bit more than a black and white view of this. There's nuance involved.
One thing I also want to chime in on that, this is also something that's been talked about as the storylines between these 2 quarterbacks, in that, well, I know that they want to stay with Jaden over Noah because mostly Jaden has a better deep ball than Noah does. And here's the thing. I don't think it really matters in the scope of the offense. DK, what is the deepest touchdown pass Jaden DeLaura has thrown this season?
Touchdown pass.
Yes.
I'd say no more than 30 yards.
36. Mm-hmm. Every other one has been 18, 12, and then you got a couple 4- and 7-yard touchdowns. That's about as deep as a throw as we're really looking at. It's not the deep ball. It's fitting it into the tight circle, fitting into that one spot it has to go in. And then you look at Fifita, the furthest pass that he's thrown so far this season for a touchdown between the 2 starts that he has, 18. Mm-hmm. That's as far as it goes. Listen, the fact of the matter is that Noah doesn't really have that gunslinger mentality of I think I can fit this ball into this spot that only my guy can catch it. He throws it to the wide open guy based on his read, and that's good. He plays to the safety of the offense. Jaden, willing to take a little bit more risk. And when you're a defender and you're going as a quarterback that's willing to take risk, you have an equal opportunity of giving up a big play as you are of making one yourself on defense. If that's what you're playing against, it's a 50-50 shot.
And going back to the nuance thing, we don't know because one of these guys we're talking about is a freshman, redshirt freshman, who has 3 years of eligibility on campus before he's draft eligible, correct? The other guy, maybe some of the throws he's making, guys, are for scouts, right? And not necessarily for the W. I mean, that does happen. I'm not saying that is the case. I'm just saying maybe some of those tougher throws, it's an audition of sorts, right? I mean, that has something to do with it. So you're talking an upperclassman guy, and clearly that's just his style. He's going to try to fit the ball into those tight spots. To me, I don't have a problem with that. My biggest problem was Jaden DeLaura holding on to the ball too long in those first 3 games and not making decisions quick enough. Noah Fifita came in, and he was making very quick decisions with the ball, and I think that's why we've seen the offense move a little bit more efficiently than we did in the first 3 or 4 games.
All right, let's hear from John real quick. John, you're on Wildcats Radio 1290 DK on the Sports Tip.
Here's kind of my whole taking a step back on things. 2 years ago, we were ecstatic to finally win a game.
Yeah.
Okay, that was 2 seasons ago, right about this time of year. We were in, 21, 22 game losing streak?
Correct.
And so think about that, and then think about the last 2 Saturdays that we've had, where we've gone toe-to-toe with 2 top 10 teams this year. And not only that, but we imposed our will at times against both of those teams. I'm watching our offensive line move players, and that couldn't have happened 2 years ago. Sure as heck didn't happen the previous 6-7 years. And, where we're actually physical now. I'll take it a step further. Last Saturday, we shut down all conference caliber receivers all day. They almost weren't open the entire game. And do they have an incredible player that made a lot of great plays? Yes. Do we have a couple really bad penalties? Yes. Back-breaking penalties. Back-breaking as far as momentum. Giving a first down on a 3rd and 15 with an incompletion kind of a thing. Like, those are things that, just the little things it takes to win a game. But that's what I focus on, is that we're getting pressure on the quarterback, and we are actually disruptive in our run game. And that speaks to the physicality of where we've come in 2 years to where we could be going 2 years from now.
It is a long way indeed, and it's a great place to be right now for this program. John, appreciate your call. We've got Dave Hickey coming up next. We want to make sure we get you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather, and to do that is cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With reported collisions, crash on Dove Mountain Boulevard near Moore Road, Speedway in Euclid and Speedway's clearing, and also a closure. Eastbound I-10 closed east of the town of Wilcox. Eastbound I-10 closed milepost 354. The low 68 with clear skies tonight. Breezy, sunny, and 95 tomorrow, and 92 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is
The athletics director of the University of Arizona, Dave Heekin. And Dave, let's start out with some good news. Tiger Christensen won the Stevens Cup today for the men's golf team. How about that?
Yeah, how about that? Men's golf had a great couple of days, and we'll move into the match play format now. But, yeah, and got the individual title out of the stroke play part of the tournament. So, yeah, big win for the group. They're doing really well. I think if I have my numbers right, I think we finished second overall.
Yeah, second overall, 5 shots behind Florida State. Tiger Christensen wins by 5 shots on the individual side. Dave, I don't know if you heard the interview we did with Tiger over the summer, but I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why he said that he transferred here from Oklahoma State to Arizona was because he's a foodie, and he said there was nowhere to eat in Stillwater. We have much better restaurants here in Tucson.
Well, I think that's a great reason.
What's your favorite restaurant, by the way?
Tucson's a foodie place. That's exactly right.
Since we're talking restaurants, you have a spot you really like to go eat at?
Ooh, I like Tucson because there's so many different places. I don't know if I could pick one favorite. I really do think it's a sneaky good foodie town with some really cool places downtown, but a bunch of places scattered all about. I think it's got a lot of great places to go out for dinner, and I like to dine out, so it seems like I dine out more than I dine in. So actually headed out tonight.
Oh,
another night out on.
All right. Well, if you've never been to Dante's Fire, that's one of my spots. So check that out there on Grant Road. That's a good one.
I like Dante's Fire.
Yes.
Been there, I really like it. Yeah.
They've got some good food there. Donor trip to USC this past weekend. How did that go? Obviously, the game did not end up the way that we all wanted it, but I'm sure that was a great game for those folks that are a major part of this program. To go out and see the team perform so well was probably a joy for them.
Yeah, we really had our difference makers with us. Probably about 350 strong people from Tucson, the Phoenix area. Certainly, we had a few from the Southern California area. Our gold, diamond, and platinum level donors, those who really contribute a significant amount each year to help our program on a yearly basis, and it's great to be all together. And we had a wonderful weekend, a chance to we come together. We have a big kind of heavy hors d'oeuvres cocktail party with the group Friday night. We sent out a couple of airplanes from here in Tucson down, and we just had a great time. And then a big tailgater before the game, and then over to the Coliseum for our last trip to the Coliseum. And it was certainly a memorable night. And like you said, it probably just didn't work out the way we wanted it at the end. But incredibly proud of the way we're playing and the way our team played, the battle and back. It was kind of back and forth there on a number of different things. Just when you thought it was all over, or someone had a chance to put it away, it flipped back the other way, and it was quite a football game.
Yeah, well, you got to love these last two games, I should say, against top 10 programs and the way that they have performed. How do you see the program right now, Dave, kind of continuing to establish itself coming off these two outstanding performances, although losing against two back-to-back top 10 teams?
Yeah. Well, let me be clear. I mean, the goal is to win games. I want to win games. It's a lot more fun to win games than to lose games. But as you're rebuilding a program and building a program for some more sustainable level success, because that's really what we want to do, is position it for longer term success. You can see pieces inside the program. Certainly, our talent level is much better. The leadership and vision from Jed and his staff is outstanding. Recruiting has continued to be successful. Those are all good things. And then on the field, the performance, highly competitive. The old saying goes, you've got to kind of get to the losing close, and then you get to winning close, and then you get to winning big in program development. I think we're really close. We've done so much to improve this program, and again, credit to our staff and those around our football program. We've invested. We are all in on football, and I believe we can be very good. So I think we have the pieces. Now we got to kind of put that one aside and go on a very difficult road trip to Washington State. Not only just because of the quality of the team, but that's a challenging place to go. It's a different environment, completely different than anything else we see. A group that's a little bit wounded just because of the Washington State Oregon State situation and feel bad for those schools. But I think they've got kind of the us against the world mentality right now, and we need to come in, do our thing, play the game, let the game be what it is, and just play it. And you can only do so much, and you just stay with it, and hopefully you come out on the right end at the end.
That'll be a 4 p.m. kickoff Saturday up on the Palouse. It'll air on the Pac-12 network as well as right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Dave Hickey, the athletics director at the University of Arizona, is our guest. Big week, really, as we kind of are really kind of dial into basketball now. Both the men's and the women's teams are in Las Vegas. The ladies were on center stage this morning, and then the men will be on center stage tomorrow. Dave, it's almost time, and we kind of had a preview with the red and blue game, but it's hard to believe the basketball season is almost here.
It's almost here. It's an exciting time in Tucson, and it's right when we start to overlap so many of our sports and from the fall and winter, and a lot of things going on, and very excited about the opportunities for both our men's and women's program to be really competitive, really successful this year. Media Day kicks it off. Get to see some personalities. Get to hear from, the coaches and the players. Get to get the prognosticators out and determine where everybody's going to finish before the year. I never quite figured out how that works, but I always like the game that's played. But anyways, yeah, it's fun. I'm really I'm excited about where we're going, and we'll open up. Let's see, it's kind of towards the end of October 25th, I think. Is
20th for the guys and 25th for the ladies.
Yeah, so we'll it's time to get ready for some basketball, because that's a big part of who we are.
Dave, I know we talk a lot about the whole NIL piece and whatnot, and you've got the collectives that kind of run separately of the athletic department. A big event last night, though, that was in town with Teddy Bruschi's Bowling with Bruschi. So do you attend those events? What is kind of your involvement in trying to at least make sure that the athletic department has a presence in those types of events?
Absolutely try to attend those. Unfortunately, I was not there. I was at another event last night with a dinner at the president's home.
Ooh.
So I'll have something. I'll be out again tonight with some of our best donors, visiting with them and having a great evening with them. But was not able to be there. But yes, we have staff who are there. We're certainly engaged with our NIL efforts, and it's fun to be around the kids. And that's a little bit different twist on the NIL efforts. But to have Teddy in, to have people sponsor kind of the alleys and generate some more revenue for our collective is really important. I've always said it's not an either-or conversation anymore. Name, image, and likeness is real. It's here. Our supporters, those in the community, we need to embrace this, and we need to find ways to continue to support the name, image, and likeness component of our program, as well as the traditional mechanism, scholarship, operations, and facilities. It is a new and a very important part of all of college athletics going forward.
Dave Hickey joining us, the athletics director for the University of Arizona. Mentioned a few other teams here. Shout out obviously to the Arizona volleyball team. Dave got their first victory in the Pac-12 conference over the weekend. Always good to beat those UCLA Bruins.
Beat those pesky Bruins. Yeah, we were able to beat UCLA, who we hadn't defeated since 2018, and then had just an amazing, highly competitive 5-set match. Unfortunately, like our football game, just right at the end got away from us, and we lose to the Trojans. But a great weekend for Coach Stubbs and our women's volleyball program, a program that, again, is building and repositioning itself after the retirement of Coach Rubio. But really liked the effort, and it was just a terrific win over UCLA.
Dave, before we let you go, any final thoughts to Wildcat Nation to begin this week?
Well, I always appreciate everybody's support. Let's have a good week. We're on the road with football, and let's cheer hard from wherever we are and bring back a victory. But great things are happening. I appreciate everybody's support. Bear down, go Cats.
Before I let you go, though, one more question, Dave. We're all excited about the Major League Baseball playoffs and the success of the Diamondbacks. Who's your team? Who do you root for in Major League Baseball? Do you have a team?
Well, I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in Michigan, so I was a Tiger fan.
Oh, okay.
Some of the greats of Detroit. I mean, I always wanted to be Al Kaline when I was growing up. It was a lot. 1968 World Series, 1984 World Series champions. So there were some great moments in Tiger history, and I was in Old Tiger Stadium, but I kind of grew up in that part of the country, and so they were really important, but haven't been very relative for a lot of years. Moved to the Northwest actually, and spent some time watching the Mariners play when they had a couple of good runs. But I love just watching the games. This is the best time for baseball. The amazing drama, intensity. Every pitch counts. I mean, nobody's taking anything off when it comes to the playoff baseball. They're fun to watch, and I hope the Diamondbacks go well. We're all rooting for the Diamondbacks.
Well, Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker doesn't get any better than that, Dave.
Best double play duo in the history of baseball, I think. Now, I'm a little partial, but boy, those guys could turn it.
You won't get too much of an argument from me on that one right there. David, appreciate you as always. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks a lot.
Dave Hickey, the athletics director for the Arizona Wildcats. Much more coming up. We'll break down Arizona and USC in the 5 o'clock hour with Glenn Howe. It's DK on the Sports Tip. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. With a crash clearing on Dove Mountain near Moore Road, on Dove Mountain Boulevard near Moore Road. And we've got road work continuing, could be slowing you down along Coach Line Road north of Silver Bell. That road work should wrap up on Thursday. 68 the low with clear skies overnight, breezy, sunny, and 95 tomorrow and 92 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report.
2020 Sports.
The Arizona men and women's basketball team saw some love from the early season Pac-12 listings. For the men, Umar Bala was the lone Wildcat representative for the 10-player first team list. Guards Kylan Boswell, Caleb Love made the second team. Pella Larson earned an honorable mention. A reminder, both Boswell and Bala will be with Coach Tommy Lloyd tomorrow at the Pac-12 Media Days in Las Vegas. For the women's side, it was as Mary Martinez and Helena Puello earning some preseason honors. Martinez was announced as the all Pac-12 preseason team. Puello earned an honorable mention list spot as well. The two are currently with Coach Adia Barnes for today's Pac-12 media coverage for the women's side. And the Braves managed to survive a scary game against the Phillies as they rallied back to take the lead, but it was an impossible defensive play and a gaffe on the base paths that ended up giving Atlanta the win.
He deals a 2-2. Castellanos in the air to right center field. Harris is on the run. Harris at the track. He leaps and he makes the catch. Harper might be doubled up. The throw gets away. The throw to first. It's over. It's over. Harper never tagged. He couldn't get back. And it's a double up to end game 2. Wow.
The Braves throwing out Harper at first managed to go and have Atlanta split the first two games at their home field as they now turn the series over to Philadelphia. That's your 2020 Sports Update. We'll have more for you here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
All right, I want to read some more of these. I want to read a few more of these responses to my tweet about the points per possession involving Arizona Wildcats quarterbacks Noah Fafita and Jaden DeLora. Gilbert Rodriguez says, less turnovers with Noah, and that is a big factor with a lot of people wanting to see more Noah Fafita. Just look at the game against Mississippi State both times. Multiple games with multiple turnovers for Jaden DeLora. DJ checks in. Jed Fish not benching JDL after his atrocious first half at Mississippi State cost them the game. Noah would have came in and steadied the ship and won the game like he did at Stanford. Fish is at a fork in the road, and his job will be on the line if he makes the wrong move. U of A Hoops fan says, Noah Fafita also did it against UW and USC. JDL did it against NAU, Stanford, and UTEP. You know something else that I'm hearing a lot of?
What's that?
From people? A lot of people are saying that Noah Fafita's performance is passing the eye test. That we can see what's happening with Noah Fafita. We can see that he's performing at a higher level than Jaden DeLora is. Based on a lot of those things that people are saying, because he has done it the last 2 weeks against the University of Washington and the team from downtown Los Angeles. He's passing the eye test. Last time I checked, there's no I in W and there's no I in L. And ultimately, that's all that matters. When the clock strikes 0, did you win the game or did you lose the game? And as well as Noah Fafita has passed the eye test, as some of you are contending, as a starter in college football, he is still 0-2. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call that number. You can text that number. Let's talk to Dan. You're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Wow. Hey, after that, I might have to change the subject of what I'm trying to bring up. Wow. Hey, I had talked to Mr. Kelly last week about these kids decommitting.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as Dave said, was he wasn't going to celebrate kids who were committing, and just had another one, Elijah Rushing from South Point, who decommitted.
Yes. That happened on Sunday night while I was at Yachtly Crew.
Okay. Elijah Rushing posted pictures from Tennessee, Florida, Georgia. Okay, he didn't get enough taste. Now, what I'm thinking is they're saving that one last official trip to see who's going to be the highest bidder.
That's probably how it works right now in the NIL era.
I would hope that really that's not the reason, but how can you look at it any different at this point?
You really can't, Dan. You really can't. I think there's, and I don't know the full gist of what the reasoning was that young Mr. Rushing decided not to stay with his commitment to the University of Arizona. I know his brother is on the team this year as a walk-on. His brother walked on at Florida, and then I believe he actually may have been given a scholarship here to be on the Arizona team. He's not playing. I'm sure that doesn't make people necessarily happy, but I don't know what's behind their decision to do what they've done. But it's certainly their right because they haven't signed anything on the dotted line to this point.
Hey, correct, but I think that
you better pull over, Dan. It looks like the federales are trying to get somewhere.
Yeah, they're looking for you.
I don't know if they're looking for me.
What this situation is evolving into is, like I say, commit, okay, and then see who really wants you after you committed, and let the highest bidder come in.
I see what you're saying, Dan. I see what you're saying. Make a decision, and then see if people start coming with the bigger bag, as they say.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, Oregon showed up on that sideline.
They were there Friday night, from what I heard.
Washington showed up on that sideline. Okay, it's not correct. It's not right. It's not good for the kid. It's not good for the school. I understand that there, as this, and the NC2A is about ready to pass legislation to allow the school to monitor the NIL, not collectives. And if that happens, it's going to create a whole different bag of tricks.
Dan, where are you at? I want to make sure. I want to make sure we let people know to avoid wherever you are, because it sounds like there's either a police situation or do you live by a hospital?
No, I pulled over on the side of the road.
Oh, okay.
I listened to your show. You hear the sirens. Going back to what we're talking about here, what is being created is, okay, Keona Wilhite, he took one visit and he accepted. Okay, I can understand that. Elijah Rushing took visits all over the country, and he saved one. He's got one in his bag. Okay, who's going to get it?
Yeah.
Now, when you look, South Point they aren't even. They got two D1 guys like that, and they aren't even ranked in the open division rankings right now.
Are they not?
No, they're not.
Oh, okay.
How are they not? How are they not? I don't know. Why is Micah Mountain and CDO right there on the cusp? So it comes down to recruits, it comes down to this, it comes down to that. What I'm trying to point out to you is I think that there's parents out there that are playing this system, and you know, if I were a parent of a high school kid, I would do the same thing. You commit to this school and see who else, who keeps coming after you. And that's where all of this NIL thing is going wrong.
Well, Dan, I guess our federal government better get on this right away then and figure out how to legislate this, because I absolutely agree. It's a little bit out of control right now. And even the coaches have come out and said that, you know, something's got to be done. Jed said that last week. Something's got to be done to get a handle on what's happening with this whole situation, this whole system right now, because it's not really working. Appreciate your call, Dan. Thank you so much.
All right,
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. We can talk about all that. We've got Glenn Howe straight ahead. We're going to break down Arizona Wildcat football as we always do on Tuesday. We're going to talk about the toss crack coming up. How about that? The toss crack. It worked. Worked a lot, except for the last play of the game.
He's got thoughts.
We'll get Glenn Howe's feelings on the toss crack. This is DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. I'm with J-Dub. I'm with Cricket. I'm with Dragon Ball. And we are with you, getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Eastbound I-10 at the 22nd Street off-ramp for a collision. Eastbound 10, 22nd Street off-ramp. A collision, and expect some slowing in the area. Weather-wise, 68 the low, clear skies overnight. Breezy, sunny 95 tomorrow and about 91 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Fall into a hiring spree with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive.
After 2020 Sports Update, we'll have more for you here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. It's the 5 o'clock hour, and it's time for our Arizona Insiders.
Am I late? No, my boy, you're just in time.
Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions on U of A football and the Pac-12. So bear down, Tucson, and let's talk Arizona football. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, official corporate sponsors of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day at Arizona.
Breaking down Arizona Wildcats. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by Glenn Howe, U of A football class of 1985. Arizona goes on the road and falls to the Southern California team in downtown LA, 43-41 in triple overtime. Glenn, after watching the tape, any new thoughts on what you saw Saturday night in Los Angeles?
Well, Dave, the first thing I want to say is this is the first time in, I can't remember in years, that we matched with USC player for player. We were, I was getting that bear down. I can't hear you, Dick. Dick, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, all right. I was going to say bear down was just playing a little loud. Is that, I was like, I love bear down, but not that much. Okay? But what I was going to say is that we matched those guys player for player. 22 guys on the field, and that's including Caleb Williams. I think Noah had a fantastic game. I think there was no position on that field that we weren't as good or not better than the USC team that day on Saturday.
Wow, that's saying a lot there,
yeah.
Glenn.
Yeah, we've come a long way, Dave. I think we have really, I agree with what Jeb said. We have a good team. We have some guys that battle. I think we have some guys that we were in that game. We dominated the game up front, I think, and we just didn't get to that last play, which is just, we got to get there. I think we're gonna get there soon.
Well, it's interesting. Like the thing that obviously stood out from his post-game press conference was he said that I think the days of us being 21-point underdogs should be over. And then they go to Wazoo this week, and they're only an 8-point underdog. So just a little over a touchdown on the road this week, which is down from the 3-touchdown underdog games that we've had the last 2 weeks. So maybe some respect is starting to get on Arizona's name after the way they've played against Washington and USC.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we got to cut down. If we want to win, we're at a point in our team that we can't have a lot of penalties. We got to take the knife out of our hands. We can't cut our own throats. We really have to be able to cut down the penalties and just play sound football. And I think we can win some ball games these days. Before the last couple of games, I couldn't find the 3 more victories, but I think we have a chance in every single one of those games that we have left. With Utah not having a quarterback, and I don't think Cam Rice is coming back this year.
Maybe not. It sounds like that knee injury is a little bit worse than everybody initially thought it was going to be. I had the Wildcats at 3-3 after 6 games, and I had them actually winning 7. So I'm going to stick with the fact that I had them winning 4 of the going 4-2 after the break, and I said before the season I thought those 4 games would be UCLA, Oregon State, and Colorado and Arizona State, and I'm going to stick to that. I still think that those are 4 games that this team absolutely has a shot to win, to finish with 7 victories this season. Let's eye in on some things, Glenn, from this USC contest on Saturday. And I want to talk about, because one of the things that came out was the success that they had in the running game. And they used a particular play known as the toss crack. Well, it depends on how you... Yeah. I've heard it termed crack toss. I've heard it termed toss crack, but they used it a little bit differently. They used it with a bunch set on the edge to really open up the blocking lanes. What did you like about the way they ran that offensive set?
Well, I like that they're tossing the ball out. We haven't seen that in a long time as like a toss sweep. We haven't seen that. The only reason why we can run that is because the wide receivers are blocking, okay, and the tight end is taking care of his business on the edge. And the wide receivers, that's the only reason why that play is successful. And if the guards get out, I mean the tackle and the guard get out, they can get out and get up on the next level. That's a very successful play. And I think we have such great athletic offensive linemen, and we're showing that every game more and more, how athletic our guys are up in front that are doing a fantastic job of just getting out and eating defensive backs and linebackers.
You know, it's funny. I asked Jonah Savinaya, he was one of the players that we chatted with today. I asked him what he liked most about that offensive set, and that's exactly what he said. He's like, I get to get out in space and block people.
Yep. Yeah, he gets to eat. I used to call them biscuits. Eat some biscuits. You know, those DBs, you get out there. Because when I was playing offensive line, I used to love to pull and get out there, and I was athletic enough to not let that DB out-juke me, and I could get on him. And then we had Dave Adams, who would run the guy into me. He would set him up to run him into me. So, you know, a great back does that.
Now, Glenn, it worked all the way up until the end. They tried it on the last play, the last 2-point conversion, and it did not go well because, according to Jed Fish, no one blocked the middle linebacker. Now, I probably went back and watched about 10 different toss crack plays, and it seems to me that most often than not, that's the left guard's job, is to peel off that middle linebacker. It did not happen there, though, and maybe one of the reasons it didn't happen was because they had seen it 5 times to that point, and as soon as they saw that alignment, they jumped all over it.
Yeah, they jumped it. They really jumped it. This would have, you know, I'm a great Saturday night OC at 10:30. Okay, because I see the whole game, and I could, you know, say, hey, maybe we should have just bootlegged that, you know, because they were just rushing. You could see the guys, the corners, they just knew it was coming. Okay, that setup. If we could run something off that, a bootleg, having the tight end go across, you know, or even have the tight end go underneath behind the lineman. You know, I've seen that. I've seen Kelsey do that a couple times with the Kansas City Chiefs, where they do a sweep and he comes underneath, and then Mahomes runs to the line of scrimmage, and it puts a real pressure on that corner or that linebacker. Whoever's out there has got to make a decision, and we have an athletic enough quarterback that can make that decision and make a big play there.
Glenn Howe joining us. He is our Arizona Insider. It's Wildcat Breakdown. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light is an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Coors Light, there is nothing like game day at Arizona. All right, Glenn, we have seen Noah Fafita now for 2 games, and I think, for lack of a better term, the honeymoon might be over, and we haven't even gotten to a bowl game yet. But a lot of clamoring about who should be the quarterback moving forward for this team. A lot of people want to see Noah Fafita to be that guy. We talked about this Saturday night. I don't believe that that's what's going to happen, because I don't think Jed Fish is going to make that decision to pull and injure Jaden DeLora. And I don't think I've heard anything the last 2 days that makes me change my mind on that.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got bye week coming up after this game. Why not let Jaden get really, really healthy and let Noah go again? Because I am really comfortable with Noah. Noah has earned his spot. Noah has earned his respect from his teammates. You could see how they rally around him. And I think that, you know, we have 1A and 1A, so 1B, okay? I think we have 1A and 1A, Okay, that's what we're very fortunate to have that, and let Jaden get real healthy for another week.
Glenn, I tweeted out a play or just a screenshot of a play earlier this morning as I was breaking down the game, and it was a play from the third quarter. And my thing has been that this offense, regardless of who the quarterback, is not scoring enough points to win these types of games. And the one big difference that I think you see between these two quarterbacks is that Noah maybe is not necessarily willing to take as many chances as Jaden Delora would. And there was a play, they had a 3rd down and goal at the 9-yard line early in the third quarter. And he had Keon Burnett kind of on an in route against a smaller defensive back. And when I saw this, my thinking is that's probably not a real difficult throw to make. All he's got to do is put it in a place where only Keon can catch it, and you've got a touchdown. But he was reluctant to throw the ball there and instead just ran it for 2 yards, and they ended up kicking a field goal. But again, it just goes back to what I said. You're not scoring. This offense is not scoring enough touchdowns. That, to me, was an opportunity where you could have scored a touchdown there if you had been willing to take a chance with that throw, but a young quarterback wasn't going to do that. So there's positives and negatives to that. The positive is that he was smart enough to say, I don't know if that's the right throw for me right now. The negative is you walk out of there with 3 points in a game where you really need touchdowns to beat a team like that.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I like his decision making. If he would have thrown it, maybe have thrown it behind him, maybe got a pick. He doesn't know. We don't know what he's seeing. Okay, and he may have not even seen the in route. He may have not have seen it.
It appeared if you go back and watch it, it appeared that he was aware that he had that, but he just didn't want to throw it. That's the way I saw it.
Yeah, and we don't know what he's thinking, but I think that sometimes you miss them. Sometimes you just miss them, and sometimes you don't take that risk, and then you look back at the film, and then he learns, and then he'll do it next time. So I think that, he's still learning. I think he's learning at a high level. He is really, really getting better. He got better from week to week. So, we should be happy with what we're seeing here. And I think we're in good hands when he's in there, and we're in good hands when Jaden's in there.
Glenn Howe joining us. It's Wildcat Breakdown. He's our Arizona Insider, brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light is an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Coors Light, there's nothing like game day at Arizona. It's the Wildcats and the Washington State Cougars on Saturday up in Pullman. We're going to continue our chat with Glenn Howe. We'll flip it over to the defense and the special teams and give our thoughts on that, coming off the Wildcats' 43-41 triple overtime loss to the team from downtown Los Angeles. But as always, we want to make sure we get you home safely every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Here's Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. First Avenue north of River Road, a new collision on First Avenue north of River Road reported. Also a wreck eastbound I-10 at the 22nd Street off-ramp, and do expect maybe some possible slowdowns. 22nd Street, eastbound I-10 at the 22nd Street off-ramp. 68 our low with clear skies overnight, breezy, sunny, and 95 tomorrow and 90 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
October is getting the world to beat a path to your door month. How do you do that? Well, you save people all kinds of money on trucks during Truck Month at O'Reilly Chevrolet, giving you more since 1924.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer. Seems like COVID's everywhere again, but there's good news from Pfizer. This season's updated COVID-19 shots are now available for ages 6 months and up, and they're designed to better protect against recent variants. Ask your pharmacist or doctor and schedule at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer.
License 240693.
Summer got hot. Dangerously hot. And frankly, most mass-produced air conditioners couldn't handle our Arizona kind of hot. Alaskan AC has partnered with a top manufacturer and created the Grizzly. The Grizzly is an AC that is custom built for desert climates. We factored in the brutal heat, swirling dust, and blasting sand our weather brings us,
and made it stronger, more durable,
and cooler.
The Grizzly chews up all the other air conditioners.
And the only place you can get the Grizzly is Alaskan AC. Now,
AvaConcerts.com. World Fighting Championships presents WFC 159 Live MMA. Only at Casino del Sol, an enterprise of the Basco-Yaqui tribe.
1290 brings you the passion of football like no one else.
So it's 3rd and 19 now from the LA 31. Snap to Stafford. 7-step deep drop. Climbs the pocket. Throws it deep ball far side. Cup wide open. Caught at the 30. Running right to the 20. Back to the left 10. 5. Touchdown. How did Cooper Kupp
This season, 1290 will bring you almost 100 NFL and college football games. It's not flexing. It's just the truth. Scoreboard 1290. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, lowest prices, biggest inventory.
At Goldberg & Osborne, we fight. We fight for accident victims, injured workers, abused seniors, those harmed by dogs, negligence, or malpractice. We fight the government and big corporations. And most importantly, we fight the insurance companies. We've been fighting for Arizonans since 1989. We go to court, we fight, and we win. Call Goldberg & Osborne and let the Eagle fight for you. Now accepting work injury cases.
So we bid farewell to Goldie the goldfish as she journeys to that big pond in the sky. Amen.
She's still there, Dad.
What?
Goldie's still there. She didn't flip.
Because Dad didn't use Picture Rock's cooling, heating, and plumbing, this little pet funeral is going to take a long time.
All right. We therefore commend our Goldie once again to the appropriate place.
Still there, Dad.
Picture Rock's cooling, heating, and plumbing, making sure all your plumbing is working the way it's supposed to.
And so, Goldie, we bid thee farewell.
Still there.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
He's kind and he's funny and he's also mustachioed. He solves all your problems by the end of every episode. TV Dad. Everyone loves TV Dad.
Sports.
Well, the news for Arizona Cardinals running back James Conner took a turn today as the team announced that Conner is now a candidate for the short-term injured reserve list as his knee injury he suffered on Sunday turned out to be worse than they initially expected. As a candidate for IR, it means Conner would have to go ahead and sit out a mandatory of 4 weeks before he could have a chance to return to the team, still looking to see if they can get a return from Kyler Murray, who is on the PUP still. The NHL season is about to drop the puck for the 2023-2024 season, but many hockey fans got some very tough news today. As one of the key voices of hockey coverage the past few years, Barry Melrose has announced that he will be retiring after it was revealed that he has been officially diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Melrose has been involved in hockey for the past 50 years as a player, a coach, and analyst, and he will now take a step away from the game he loves. And just a reminder that we love you very much, Barry. Be well. That's your 2020 Sports Update. We'll have more for you here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, breaking down Arizona Wildcats football, rejoined by my guy, Glenn Howell. You have a football class of 1985. Wildcats fall 43-41 in Los Angeles to the Trojans. Glenn, let's talk a little bit about the defense in this ball game. As good a performance probably as we've seen from this defense. And I think it was really at all three levels. I mean, the defensive line was all over the place in terms of putting pressure on Caleb Williams. You know, there's a term that we like to say, running the quarterback off the point. And they did a great job of that in this particular ball game. Now, he did get him with his legs a couple of times, but for the most part, they were able to keep a pretty good eye on him. But they're going to need to have that somebody a better, I guess, a little bit better in the spy department coming into this game against Washington State, because Cameron Ward is another quarterback who has started to run the ball a little bit more. Johnny Nansen indicated today that they had spies on Caleb. They just didn't take the right angle at times to try to get to him when he ran, and that's critical to keep those types of running quarterbacks from running crazy on you.
Well, I think Williams was running because our DBs were locking their receivers down.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why he was running. Just think about it. That wide receiver crew, they were talking about this the last couple of games, about how great they were. They're one of the best in the country, if not in the Pac-12. And one of the most catches the receiver had was three catches. And the rest of them were 2 and 1. I think our DBs are just so good. I think they're really good. They're getting better every week. Linebackers are getting better, and our D-line, that rotation, we finally have a rotation. We've always been wanting to have a rotation of guys up front. We got them now. So it's really good to see every single one of those guys is playing well. They're playing with high motors, and I'm really proud of this defense, of how Johnny Nansen has really turned this around.
Yeah, Deuce Davis, defensive end, had an outstanding game coming off an injury from the Washington ball game, and you mentioned those two young quarterbacks. One thing though, on the negative side, that kind of stood out was some of the. I mean, I thought overall they tackled well. There was some issues there, I think, with the freshman Genesis Smith, and he missed a few tackles trying to hit guys rather than just rather than wrapping them up. And you got to be able to wrap up at this level. You can't just hit and knock guys out.
Yeah, that's the thing that they have to do. If we tackle better, we're getting close to almost the perfect game, guys. I mean, we're getting close. We got to shore up on the special teams. I think we got to, the kicking's got to. I think the punting's got to be a little better. That's one thing I was kind of disappointed in. I think that's got to get better. There's no kick returns. There's nothing. Yes. There's no kick returns or punt returns.
So let's go to that. Let's go to that. Because the special teams kind of boggled me on a few things in this particular ball game. I didn't understand the 2 fair catches in play when you had a chance to return those. I didn't really understand that. And obviously, I'm not gonna go too hard on Tyler Loop missing the field goal, because that was a long one. He doesn't really kick too many field goals over 50 yards. But again, if you want to win games like that, you got to be able to make that kick.
Yeah, you absolutely do. I don't know what's going on with the return game on the punt. I don't know if we don't have the guys back there. We don't have a guy that we think that can do that, because I know he can catch it. But can he run with it? That's what we want. I mean, there's a couple times I think T-Mac could have ran with one.
Yeah, well, that was one of them. T-Mac had one, and then Javion Celestine, G7, had one where he kind of fair caught it and had plenty of room to do something with it.
Yeah, actually, Celestine had a lot of room, number 24, so he had plenty of room to do that. I just think that, I don't know, that they just don't, they're not willing to risk that ball security. I just don't understand that, but I think we need to get somebody back there.
Well,
and then somebody that I'm missing is like I'm going to put him on the milk carton pretty soon. Is Speedy Luke? Where's Speedy?
Yeah, he was. I was wondering if there might have been an injury involved there because he didn't. I don't think he ran the ball at all in the game on
run the ball
Saturday
at all.
night.
And where is he at? Maybe returning the ball.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going on there. If it's not happening in practice, he's dropping balls or whatever. I'm not saying he is, but I don't know what's happening. But there's something going on that we're not seeing him.
Well, he obviously muffed the one against Washington, and then and I think the ball security thing has probably got something to do with it as well. In terms with the kickoff return, that's been Michael Wiley's job primarily, and without him in there, maybe they're reluctant to try to run it back with some of those other guys like T-Mac and G7. So that'll be something interesting to keep an eye on, just because we talk about how important special teams are in a game like that. And I just thought that there were some missed opportunities. You missed opportunities to pick up yardages on 2 kickoffs. You missed an opportunity to potentially win the game with a field goal. So you've got to be if you want to beat a number 9 team like USC on the road, if you want to win a game like this Saturday on the road against Washington State, you got to be able to take advantage of those special teams opportunities when they're presented in front of you. Glenn Howell is joining us. He is our Arizona Insider Wildcat Breakdown every Tuesday. He is brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light is an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Coors Light, there's nothing like game day at Arizona. Washington State, Glenn, is next. And what are your early thoughts on going up to the Palouse? It's not going to be freezing cold, and it may not even rain. So that's 2 good things in your favor already.
Yeah, I looked at the weather. It looks like it's going to be cloudy and 65.
Wow.
Beautiful day.
You'll take that.
Beautiful day to run the ball. Beautiful day to run the ball. Let the big fellas up front eat. Let them sit them at the buffet and let them go. And let him run the ball. I think we can run the ball on anybody in this league, and I think that we should try it, and we should just because we don't want to. It's the same thing with the keep away. Those possessions are very, very important. I don't mind a long drive up there and a couple long drives, and and our defense, and just give those guys a little rest. Let them watch the game, and then go out there and just attack people. I think that we are in a good position to go up to the Palouse and win this ball game.
This is going to be a tough one. This is not one of the 4 that I had on my list of the last 6, though. But we'll see.
No, this is absolutely a tough one. But you know what? I think we can. With the way we played last week, we coming off a loss. If we would have won this game, the SC game, I would have been a little bit more suspect about us going up to Washington State and pulling off another one. But since we lost this game against USC, I think our guys are hungry.
Glenn Howe, as always, we appreciate you, brother. We will talk to you on Saturday from Soul Sports.
All right. We'll see you later. Bear down.
Glenn Howe, U of A football class of 1985.
Thanks to Coors Light for bringing you today's Arizona Insiders on Wildcats Radio 1290. Coors Light, official corporate sponsors of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day at Arizona.
All right, real quick before we get out of here today, we mentioned when we were talking to Dave Hickey, Tiger Christensen, U of A golfer, has won the Stevens Cup. This was a tournament down in Dallas, Texas. He shot 19 under in this tournament to win it, and it was on the Golf Channel, and they interviewed him afterward. Let's hear from Tiger Stevenson on his win. I'm sorry, Tiger Christensen on his win at the Stevens Cup.
We got Mr. Bill McAtee. He's going to present some hardware in a second. You know, Bill, this golf tournament in the past and the future's got a lot of tread right now and move in the right direction.
It really is. It's come together so beautifully, and our champion on the men's side reflects that. And on behalf of Warren Stevens, the chairman of the Stevens Cup, congratulations. Great playing, Tiger. That was well done out there.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, Bill, you've given Tiger a couple of trophies in your time, haven't you? Well, Tiger, a dominating performance this week. One of the things that I looked at, and you and I just spoke of, only missed 2 fairways all week on this golf course. When you got on property here, is that one of the keys that you thought that was going to be something I had to have to play this golf course well?
Well, I thought the main thing really was to have good lag putting today, this week, because the greens are massive here. There's some greens that are just nowhere like this. And, I actually also had 0 3-putts this week, so that goal was definitely set and achieved. But off the tee, it's pretty generous. So, I mean, if you're going to miss the fairways, you're going to penalize yourself. But hitting the fairways is definitely key, but it's also not, like, the most challenging off the tee. So definitely lag putting and into the green, being smart where you leave yourself, because there's some great undulations. You can have some hard 2-putts. Well, certainly you teed off on the back 9 to open up your day. You got to walk us through. You get to 16, you chip in there for eagle, then you also make birdie on 18, which is your 9th hole. How much was that important to increase that lead with the 9 holes to play? Well, today, especially when you're not playing with the closest kind of trailing player in college golf, I really just try to focus on my game and try to play my game as good as possible. And obviously a 30 on my front 9, but the actual back 9 is great, but it didn't really mean anything like according to my score towards the other people. But it's obviously a good cushion to have on going to these back 9 that are harder, and in the wind especially, to kind of give yourself some shots is definitely important. Certainly you're going to have to change mindset tomorrow. Individual plays over with. Now you catch Florida State in the match play portion. What will Coach say to you guys tonight, and what do you think that you have to change mentally to start to play match play over medal play? Well, first of all, I want to say a huge shout out to my team, really hanging in there tough today. I mean, I think we were tied 5th or something going into this round, and now playing us into the final group and to have a chance to win this tournament tomorrow is definitely a goal we had. And I mean, it's just great. We got so many good players on the team. I think we all have a pretty good game plan, and if we just play our game, we don't really have to change that much. I think we're going to have a good match tomorrow.
All right, Tiger Christensen in Dallas wins the Stevens Cup. That's the individual portion of it. Had a great front 9, as you saw there. Finished the day with 6 birdies and an eagle. Great job by Tiger. More play tomorrow for the fellows on the team side and match play at that event. All right, that's going to wrap up our coverage for today. Thanks to J-Dub, thanks to Cricket, thanks to Dragon Ball, most of all, thanks to you for listening. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock for more DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. Have a great evening. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Show.